Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. We know that Kristaps Porzingis is a great center, and if the Warriors can sign him, he will be a great acquisition. Kristaps Porzingis has enough experience to help Stephen Curry become a champion again. Golden State eyes Kristaps Porzingis to boost size, defense, and spacing around Stephen Curry. The Golden State Warriors may finally be answering Draymond Green's loudest call, getting him some help in the frontcourt. In a new mock trade idea proposed by Bleacher Report's Grant Hughes, the Warriors address their glaring need for size, spacing, and interior defense by acquiring Kristaps Porzingis from the Boston Celtics. Golden State Warriors receive Kristaps Porzingis. Boston Celtics receive Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Tracy Jackson-Davis, Gueye Santos. The proposed trade would send Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Tracy Jackson-Davis, and Gueye Santos to Boston, giving the Celtics 4 valuable rotation pieces, while the Warriors land the stretch big man they desperately need. This deal would mark a significant shift for a franchise that has leaned heavily on small ball since the peak of the Splash Brothers era. Even Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy acknowledged this offseason that the small ball identity is no longer sustainable in its purest form. With Draymond Green and newly acquired Jimmy Butler forming a gritty, defense-first frontcourt, the team now needs someone who can stretch the floor vertically and horizontally. That's exactly what Porzingis brings. Standing at 7'3", Porzingis averaged 20.1 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks per game last season with the Celtics, shooting a blistering 51.6% from the field and 37.5% from three-point range. He's one of the few bigs in the league who can protect the rim, pop out for threes, and serve as a legitimate post-up threat, a skill set the Warriors have never had at center. With Stephen Curry still operating at a high level, imagine the pick-and-pop or high-screen actions between him and KP. It would force defenses into impossible decisions. This trade would also finally relieve Draymond Green from the physical toll of guarding behemoths every night. After starting most of the season at center, Green himself admitted on his podcast, The Draymond Green Show, that playing the 5 is hard and takes a toll. Even though he earned all defensive first-team honors again this year, at age 35, Green knows he can't keep battling 260-pound centers nightly. From Boston's perspective, the trade may be rooted in finances. With Jaylen Brown's and Jason Tatum's supermax extensions and a ballooning luxury tax, the Celtics are looking to shed long-term salary. Porzingis is owed over $60 million in the next 2 years. In return, they get promising young talent in Jackson-Davis and Moody, as well as the sharpshooting Hield, who could replace some of the spacing KP offered. The Warriors would need to navigate the cap implications of Porzingis' contract, but with their win-now window closing around Curry, Butler, and Green, this could be their best chance to contend again. Trading youth for veteran talent is risky, but so is wasting what's left of your dynasty's core. And if the trade goes through, Green may finally rest his bruised body a little easier. Warriors will have to say goodbye to beloved player if latest rumors are true. It's hard to say goodbye. The Golden State Warriors landed the co-star for Stephen Curry they needed this past season, trading for Jimmy Butler at the trade deadline. While this front office is always up for big game hunting and have the future draft assets to make a run at another star, early indications are that they plan to build around the pairing of Curry and Butler and instead seek out ideal supporting players this offseason. The number one item on their summer shopping list is a starting center, ideally one who can defend the paint and space the floor. Those players don't grow on trees, of course, but there is one name who has been linked to Golden State that makes a lot of sense: Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks. Brook Lopez would be a great fit. The idea was floated by ESPN's Bobby Marks recently when discussing the Warriors' offseason, although Golden State fans have been locked into Splash Mountain 4 years as the perfect fit, a combination of Andrew Bogut's defense and Maurice Spate's offense, to pull a couple of dynasty names into the present. Lopez just turned 37 years old and has certainly lost a step, but his 7 feet 1 inch frame and mammoth wingspan do not age, and his three-point shot has stayed consistent. He played significant minutes this past season and held up well. If he was 30 years old, he would be priced out of the Warriors market, but if they take a bet on Lopez aging slowly, he could be the ideal two-way complement to the roster. Having a shot blocker on the court defensively frees both Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler to leap passing lanes and rotate around, and it provides protection behind the play for the likes of Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, and Moses Moody to defend aggressively on the perimeter. On offense, Lopez has spaced the court for the interior scoring of Giannis Antetokounmpo for 7 seasons to championship levels of success, and he could do the same for Green and Butler. The problem? Signing Lopez likely means saying goodbye to Kevin Looney. Kevin Looney could be an off-season casualty. Both Brook Lopez and Kevin Looney are hitting free agency this summer, and it's obvious that the Warriors will take Lopez over Looney if forced to make that choice. The organization obviously loves Looney, but his limitations on both offense and defense have pushed him down the big man pecking order. He is often out of the rotation entirely. If the Warriors can free up enough financial flexibility to sign Lopez, they likely wouldn't be able to offer Looney anything more than the minimum. And when you add in the roster spots for Tracy Jackson-Davis and Quinton Post, the need for Looney to be a fourth center goes down significantly, especially since Green will play significant minutes at the 5. Looney remains an elite rebounder and switch defender and will be an attractive center for another team to add. Perhaps that's merely for the minimum, perhaps he can find a little bit of a market and make more than that. He has proven himself a player who elevates his game in the playoffs. Given the Warriors' roster and financial restraints, however, he has a very real chance of leaving the only team he has ever played for. Could the Milwaukee Bucks pivot around and sign him to help replace Lopez? He is a Milwaukee native, so that might appeal to him. Contending teams like the Indiana Pacers, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Denver Nuggets would love signing him to a minimum deal to be their backup center. The Detroit Pistons, New Orleans Pelicans, or San Antonio Spurs could sign him for slightly more to be a veteran backup. The Warriors love Looney, so they may find a way to bring him back. Objectively, however, the addition of a significant player at center like Brook Lopez should spell the end of Looney's time in the Bay Area. It would be a bittersweet send-off for one of the key role players of the Steph Curry era. Warriors have perfect and familiar trade partner to re-enter first round of NBA draft. Golden State's own first-round pick is in the hands of the Heat. The Golden State Warriors will be without a first-round pick for a second straight year, having given up the 20th overall pick to the Miami Heat in the blockbuster trade for Jimmy Butler in early February. While unlikely to occur, the Warriors could explore trading back into the first round if there's a prospect on the board they like. With multiple future first-round picks still in their possession, it wouldn't be overly difficult, and a recent trade partner could emerge as the team to help facilitate it. The Nets could help the Warriors re-enter the first round of the draft. The Brooklyn Nets will enter next month's draft with 4 first-round picks. Their own selection fell at number 8 in the lottery, while they've got the 19th pick from the Milwaukee Bucks, the 26th pick from the New York Knicks, and the 27th pick from the Houston Rockets. Even for a rebuilding team like the Nets, taking 4 first-round picks is a lot and may not be the best use of their assets. The Houston Rockets had 4 first-round picks in 2021, and while Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun have worked well, Usman Garuba and Josh Christopher were off the team after just 2 years. There's a chance that the Nets try and package their later picks to move up in the draft, use one or multiple to acquire a player from another team, or move one or more in exchange for future picks to try and spread out the incoming talent over numerous drafts. It's this latter pathway that could prove opportunistic for Golden State if there's someone remaining on the board they really like. Much has been made of their inability to make significant use of the 3 lottery picks they had across 2020 and 2021, having fatefully taken James Wiseman 2nd overall before selecting Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody 12 months later. However, Mike Dunleavy Jr. has done an excellent job with later draft picks since taking over as general manager. Brandon Podziemski was an inspired pick at 19 in 2023, while Tracy Jackson-Davis, 57th, and Quinton Post, 52nd, have provided enormous value at the end of the second round. Perhaps Dunleavy backs himself in to unearth a hidden gem. Doing so and having a player under team control for 4 years on low money would be extremely valuable to a franchise who forecast to push the first tax apron next season. The Warriors and Nets have recent history as trade partners, with the latter sending Dennis Schroeder to the Bay in December in exchange for DeAnthony Melton, Reese Beekman, and 3 second-round picks. The first round of the draft will take place at Barclays Center on June 25, with Golden State's first selection not currently scheduled till 41st overall on the following day. NBA scout reminds Warriors of brutal Jonathan Kuminga reality. This could still be the end. As the offseason begins to take form for the Golden State Warriors, restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga remains the biggest question on the team's roster and in their offseason plans. Yet, an anonymous NBA scout has highlighted the brutal truth surrounding Kuminga this offseason. While the Warriors might attempt to retain the young forward, the best thing for him, and for the organization, could be a sign-and-trade. Although, given recent rumors around the NBA, there has been optimism that the franchise might be able to pull off some salary cap wizardry in order to extend Kuminga. Kevin Pelton, in his recent free agent rankings for ESPN, reported that there is still significant belief Kuminga will be dealt to another team. According to one scout, the best thing that happens to Kuminga is if they sign and trade him. Such a deal would represent another failure in the Warriors' ability to develop and retain their young talent, but it might be the inevitable outcome of an unfortunate series of events. A fresh start could be best for Kuminga. Kuminga, prior to suffering a severe ankle injury in early January, was in the midst of a career year for Golden State. Through his first 32 games of the season, he was averaging 16.8 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.2 assists, providing a bolt of energy in various roles throughout the rotation. However, upon his return from injury, the team had been reconfigured around trade deadline acquisition Jimmy Butler, resulting in a redundancy within the roster that ultimately resulted in Kuminga being sidelined through the final stretch of the season. In his time with the Warriors, Kuminga's frustrations with his role and opportunities have been made public on numerous occasions, and, as he enters free agency with a projected value of around 4 years and $120 million, it is possible that he wishes to receive a fresh start with another organization. If Kuminga were willing to accept his role as a microwave scorer off the bench, utilizing his limited minutes to jumpstart the offense when it is most needed, he could be a vital piece for Golden State to make another playoff run. However, he is also their most significant trade asset this offseason as they attempt to retool around their veteran core, and a sign-and-trade, allowing the Warriors to receive a significant package in return for Kuminga, could also give the team the pieces they need to overcome their weaknesses from this season. Teams such as the Brooklyn Nets and the Chicago Bulls are heavily rumored to have interest in Kuminga, and they almost certainly will have the cap space to give him the sort of deal he desires. However, while it is the most likely outcome, Kuminga departing through a sign-and-trade would be a disappointing outcome for Golden State, and, as one scout indicates, the franchise may need to face that brutal truth in the coming months.